The FBI has arrested a suspect in connection with the planting of pipe bombs at the DNC and RNC offices in Washington, D.C. the night before the January 6th riot. I want to bring in CBS News Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane, who's been covering this for us. Scott, you've been covering this story. You and I have been speaking about it since it broke just about an hour ago. What more are you learning?
We know it's a man from Virginia arrested just after 8 a.m. Eastern time in the Washington, D.C. suburbs of Virginia by the FBI's Washington field office. We expect this man to make a court appearance as early this afternoon at the Washington, D.C. federal courthouse. And at that point, Vlad, we find out not just the who, but perhaps of great importance, the why. Because this mystery, this 5-year-long episode trying to find the person who put those pipe bombs on Capitol Hill January 5th, 2021, has given rise to some very pernicious, metastasizing conspiracy theories that have upended some people's lives and have raised questions about what happened in connection with the January 6th Capitol riot. You'll recall, Vlad, these devices were deemed destructive, potentially deadly. They never went off, but they were discovered at just the worst possible moment. As the rioters were approaching the Capitol, it distracted the police and gave the rioters a wider berth to get onto the Capitol grounds, eventually into the Capitol, and unleash the U.S. Capitol insurrection, in which more than 140 police officers were hurt. They've been looking for the person ever since. The FBI has released images periodically through the years. They've offered this $500,000 reward for information leading to the person's capture. What we know is that capture of the suspect happened in Virginia today. It's a man whose name has not yet been released, but we do expect to know it by midday.
All right, Scott, we appreciate your reporting. Thank you very, very much. Former FBI Special Agent Doug Kouns is here to talk more about this. So, Doug, as you know, this investigation spanned 2 administrations, 2 different FBI directors. Can you perhaps break down how that might have impacted the investigation? I want to believe, in your former FBI agent, that no matter who's the president of the United States, no matter who the FBI director is, the work of what these agents do every day, that work, that crucial work that keeps us safe, carries on no matter who's at the top.
Exactly. You know, I was an FBI agent for 22 years and started with Louis Freeh and then Mueller and then Comey and Wray. And it didn't really matter at the street level what we were doing, where the rubber meets the road. We did our thing. We investigated our cases. We made our arrests, regardless of who was in charge or who the president was. And I know there's a lot of these conspiracy theories, cover-ups, and I just try to tune that out, and I applaud these guys that have made an arrest after, about 5 years now. So I think that's to be applauded rather than to start pointing fingers and saying, well, why did it take so long? Let's do not a victory lap, but let's just be thankful for what we have right now. There's still a long way to go.
Yeah, and before I let you go, I mean, one question that I would have, and I think perhaps our viewers might have as well, is that, and as you point out, the crucial work that the FBI agents, those men and women on the ground do, carries on. But it is interesting that in this particular case, you have people who are leading the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, who before becoming directors were very active on social media, were very active in sort of the right-leaning ecosphere, media sphere. And I wonder do you think that the fact that over the course of their time in those media echo chambers, suggesting conspiracy theories, that would affect in any way, shape or form the investigation carried on by the men and women of the FBI?
Yes, it could have an impact. It's hard to say. Again, in my experience, sometimes the FBI is its own worst enemy. We put roadblocks in front of ourselves that we have to overcome to get the job done, and often we're successful in spite of ourselves. So I don't know exactly what's going on politically, with these things. Or more likely, I think it's probably improvements in technology, facial recognition, DNA. Social media exploitation, geospatial exploitation. 5 years is an eternity as far as technology is concerned, and there can be great advances. So I would be inclined to believe that it's something more investigatively sound rather than the pushing of some sort of a narrative of some kind.
Yeah, that's good to know. Doug Kouns, former FBI agent, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.